So it's not... So this is a Mercator projection. The person who invented it, this projection, the idea was it's really hard to project a map of a round world onto a flat surface. So this Mercator fellow created this thing, and it's, well, everything is more or less where it is, except the further you get away from the equator, which is about here, the more distorted it gets. Canada and Greenland and Russia are not this big. And one way to kind of think about it is that the top of the world and the bottom of the world, that's the North and South poles, these things, this is 1 point. This is 1 point on the world. It's 1 point. You could stand on it. You could stand on it and 1 foot would be on one side of it and 1 foot would be on the other side of it. In theory, anyway. The problem with this is that it's just not accurate. But we're not going to worry about that. All right, everything is in the same font. This is all good. Things are more or less printed properly. They got super tiny with the fonts. It's worth noting that Slovenia and Slovakia are right beside each other, and they're both abbreviated SLOV. So that's the thing. It's good that they have the countries they decide to choose and the ones they don't decide to choose. They've done pretty good on this. Estonia, they spelled wrongly as BST. Belgium, Netherlands, Neth. Not even once. So all this is good. So far so good. It's not great, but it's fine. It's perfectly fine. Really, we paid like $7 for it on Etsy. It's not a big deal. What makes this fun, and I think what we didn't realize until we got it here, was the variety of the clip art. And this is where I really want to show you some fun things. The stuff down here is the stuff that he noticed first, the stuff that our son noticed first when he first stood up and was able to kind of notice other things on the wall. He was like, oh look, these are animals, because he was like, whatever, 8 months old, and he was just able to stand and be like, oh look, that's really close. He had a little kangaroo and he had a little koala, and so his first animals were kind of, he could say roo and wala, and so like kangaroo and koala were kind of his first words, which was great. But he was really into penguins. Look at these penguins. These are clip art penguins. They're stolen from somewhere, which is whatever, you know, I get it, but I get it. And then these are completely different penguins. And there's a walrus that looks like it was pulled out of a PowerPoint presentation. This whale looks like it's the logo for some sort of, I don't know, hockey team somewhere. The whale's in more or less the right place. There are whales down there. The giraffe is standing just off the coast of Namibia, and that giraffe looks like it was taken from somewhere. This zebra is right in the middle of the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Curious spacing there, and also the white part of the zebra, it fades into the country, so it fades into the terrain, which I guess happens. There's an ostrich in the middle, in the strait between Madagascar and Mozambique, which is, well, ostriches can't swim, but whatever, it's fine. That camel looks positively goofy. There's this Indian elephant, at least it's an Indian elephant. These trees are, look, this looks like it was just straight up cut and pasted, as were these trees. These trees were all cut and pasted. That's really kind of wild and interesting. There's a panda bear eating bamboo for China. That's how they got China, which, sure. The bear, there's a Russian bear, a big Russian bear. Yeah, why not? So that's fine. This owl looks like it's from a completely different thing. The owl is the size of the bear, but are there owls up in Siberia? That's possible? I honestly don't know. Now, suddenly I don't know. Maybe they just had an extra owl and they were just like, we need to put an owl somewhere. Oh, look there. I love this. I love Novaya Zemlya. Whenever they show Novaya Zemlya, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I at least understand that. There's another whale, another Arctic whale. Ukraine, there's a squirrel. And it's a silly little squirrel. It looks like a cereal mascot. This tiger looks like the nicest, cuddliest little tiger in the world, which, it's good. This is ostensibly a kid's illustration. So if they were all like this, that'd be fine. If they were all like this, that would be fine. Hey, if they were all like, if everything looked like the zebra, where it was just like straight up clip art, or like this, where it was the seal, the Antarctic seal, it would look like that would be fine. But the fact that it's all over the yard, it's just nuts. Look at this lion. This lion looks like, I don't know what this is. And what's this red bird? There's probably a red bird that's endemic to North Africa, to Algeria and Libya, and I don't know what it is. So please fill me in. I would like to know, because I don't think that's cardinal country. I could be wrong. Let's get to North America, or North and South America. There's a sloth. There, look at this, and then an alligator, and like, look at these things. These are all so different. There's a really stately looking flamingo, and again, these trees, some evergreens and some conifers, and that's what it is. Like, the whales are all uniform. There are 3 different whales that are clearly pulled from the same piece of clip art, and that's all fine. Then we get to the US. The US is made of 2 animals, a raccoon, a trash panda, and this bird from the Pacific Northwest, who knows. And then Canada. Canada has 4 animals, One is another bear, a less descript bear than the Russian one over here. And then we have a little tiny deer that has almost no features to it whatsoever. And then this one, which is so ornately drawn, they're right beside each other, and it's like, well, when you get old enough as a deer, you become, or a caribou, or a reindeer, or whatever species this is purporting to be, you get features, you get contours in your eyes, and you get better contrast on your body. I don't know, maybe that's what it is. That polar bear, that's a big old polar bear. I haven't even bothered telling him about polar bears. Although, oh no, that's not true. We've seen some National Geographic videos of polar bears. Mostly mama polar bears playing with their kids, because we'll teach him all about how animals eat other animals sometimes because that's how animals survive. We'll build to that. And then a cute cuddly little walrus up on Baffin Island. Just a cute little cuddly little walrus. That's really cute. Clearly somebody just took a bunch of clip art. They just Googled a bunch of different animals and just dragged and dropped some stuff into a folder and then just puked it onto a cheap Mercator projection. This looks like it was a really tiny map that then they just blew up, because the detail on this map is iffy at best. But, you know, it's fine. It's fine. But we are not gonna take it with us when we move to Paris. It's just going to be a curiosity. I'm really glad that I was able to break it down and share it, because it's amazing what cheap stuff you can get away with selling on the internet. If I were you, I would get it if I only had $5 and a free wall. But if you have any interest in getting your child interested in actual geography, then maybe going another way. I remember as a kid I had a National Geographic map of the world that was instantly out of date. It had all, you know, certainly like Africa was a minefield of geopolitical explanations that never came. Like it had like Nyasa land and Basuto land and like countries that haven't existed in half a century or hadn't existed in 20 years when I was a little kid. But it was on the wall and it was like, this is really interesting. And it was more or less geographically accurate. It didn't have cute little foxes that are like stylish and look like, I don't know, what these all look like weird, yeah, they look like weird logos or clip art. Or this cost nothing to make. Someone banged this whole thing out in an afternoon, and so fair play to them. Oh, and like there's a reindeer. There's a Nordic reindeer that is completely different from these other reindeer. Although they're not identical species, but they're close enough that these two should look more or less alike. You'd think. At least everything is more or less in the right place. Yeah, I haven't been completely offended by having this in the house, but every once in a while I look at it and go, wow, what were they thinking? Our next house will have a better map of the world.